Hello viewers, welcome once again to Home Cooked Food. Today I'm going to be making one of my favorite soup, Abunabunu or green soup. I have here my crabs, I have snails, I have dry fish, I have super cool and a little bit of Kobe salted fish. They're both salted fish. I also got myself ginger and onions, garlic to steam my meat. I have tomatoes, pepper, and I also have lemon to wash my snails. And then I have my spinach. As for the spinach, if you don't have nkontomire, you can use the spinach. For this soup, some people prefer to use dry fish, but I am going to use goat meat. I got myself some turkey too. As you can see, my meat is already washed, so I'm gonna put it on fire and start my process. I'll blend my garlic and onions and use it to steam my meat. My onions are already peeled and washed. So I have my ginger and onion garlic paste here. I'm going to use it to season my meat. And then I'll add a little bit of adobe seasoning to it. I'm also adding a little bit of Maggi cube. Leave your meat to steam for a couple minutes. I'm gonna put my tomatoes to boil a little while and my pepper. I'm using a little bit more pepper because it's cold outside and I prefer it to be spicy. So while I have my tomatoes on fire, I'm gonna stir my meat. I'll add a little bit of salt to it to give it taste. When it comes to my snail, I prefer using lemon to wash it. This helps to remove the slimy, sticky coating from it. At this point, I'm going to check my meat. I'm still going to give it a stir. You really have to let your meat steam for a while, because when you put your spinach on it, you don't want it to simmer for a long time. Allow it to keep steaming for a couple more minutes. Let me check my tomatoes if it's boiling. It's not ready. So at this point, I'm going to add my snail and my crab. And my crabs, I like to take the shells off and remove all the stuffing from it. You know, some people prefer putting the crabs at the end of the steaming process, but I prefer adding this stuff to the meat so that all the ginger and the spices will get into it. have some of my blended garlic and ginger left. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. So while my tomatoes is almost ready, I'm going to add the spinach. You don't have to overcook it. Just let it boil for, this is already washed. Just let it boil for 5 minutes to maintain the right green color. So one of the reasons why I did not add the dry fish to it is because if you add the dry fish to the steaming process, it will end up dissolving in the soup because it's going to be very tender. So I prefer putting it at the end when I add my spinach. At this point, I'll off my fire because it's already 5 minutes, and I'll take my spinach. You know, most of the time I prefer putting the tomatoes together with the meat, but this time I just decided to cook it separately. So I'm going to blend my tomatoes and add it to my steamed meat. Next, I'm going to rinse my spinach with cold water to maintain the green bright color, and then I'll blend it. I like putting percocet in my soup. That's one ingredient that I almost forget. I'm not going to use the whole percocet because I don't want to taste all percocet in the soup. So I'm going to set this aside and I'll use it later. I will add my supaku and Kobe at this point. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'll add a dry fish to it. You can feel free to add it at the end or beginning, whichever way, but I do prefer putting it at this point. Let it boil for 2 minutes and then I'll add my spinach to it. Okay, I've added some water to the spinach. So at this point, I'm going to add my percocet to the final stage of the soup. And then you cover it and allow it to simmer for a while. As you can see, the soup is ready and I'm going to serve it with fufu. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like the page, and you can also like our home cooked food page at Facebook. Thank you for watching. See you again.